Are we live yet? How come I'm hearing like mic noises? Is it something else coming in? Oh, I think I might know what it is. I have a feeling that maybe Nick's mic is on. The producer's mic might be on. Let me just toggle the D Live, guys, before we get going, because I don't see D Live going live yet. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Come on. Come on. Turn on my live chat. I like to make sure that the D Live crew are able to tune in. So hang on. Toggle it one more time. Who is here? Zach from Columbus? Okay, guys. Come on. Come on, D-Live. Can you do it? Yes. Okay. Finally. It is 9:02 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time. Men's Forum in 2 days. First Thursday of the month for men only. 7 p.m. here at Bond in Los Angeles. Make sure you join us. It is not streamed. It is not recorded. Totally private and recommended. Always excellent. The Associated Press has not confirmed that Hake exists. Let's get started with a little bit of music. I did handpick something this time. Very nice. Some of you guys may know this, a few, maybe like one or two. This is Frodus 699, as in June of 99, June of 1999, I believe. And it's a nice song. I thought I would just share it with you. How we get everybody going. I will be taking your calls, 888-775-3773. It is kind of like a Christian punk band, punk rock band, post-punk band. I don't know. Who writes Hake's script? Nobody. Jesus. Or Satan. Don't know. Hake looks greasy. Oh, I better. Okay. Thank you, Toronzo Turden. So guys, by the way, you can catch my interview on the Realist Report. And by Realist Report, I don't mean, oh, he's the realist. I mean like realistic. Realist Report. Not the most real report. Realist, I-S-T. With John Friend, I was interviewed last night and he put it out pretty much right away. Check it out. I'm going to be talking about white music, and this is sort of an example of white music, including so-called Christian music, Black American music, Latin music. I think they all reflect the cultural decline of each culture. And LGBTQ Home Depot is anti-Christian and caught up with the mess. Listening to evil people. The Georgia people, the Georgia legislature and governor are at least pretending, putting on a show of pretending to put on, to want, no, not Realist Report on the internet. This is not a black show. But anyway, Georgia wants some election integrity, and CNN and so-called justice groups don't want that. They don't want integrity. Yeah, you know what? Home Depot has been this way for a decade or longer. They've been participating in pride parades. We want to be inclusive. I pretended like I was going to boycott them at one point. I called them up, even. Hake likes emo. I don't consider this emo. Forget you. I only listen to ska and hardcore. All right, guys. It is 9:05 a.m. Let's fade this out, because we got to get started. Not bad at all, says Jim Justice. Are you talking about the music? Okay, guys, let's get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, isn't the world so backwards? Yes, it is. But we don't have to be backwards with it. I have some super chats to read. Super chats on Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. In fact, even before I start streaming, you can give super chats on via that. And Hot Computer Smell did just that. And she says, the Bible go-to guy, also known as the Bible guy, the Bible 2 guy, the 2 Bible go guy, the Bible 2 go guy. Yes. The blacks cannot get that name down. The black liberals who call into my show, such as Maze. Who else has talked about Bible go-to guy? And other liberals. And Based AF, Based America First, has a tip. Kelly Shibaka. We're assuming that that's how it's pronounced. Guessing, really. Tshibaka announced a primary challenge to Lisa Murkowski, who is a renowned and infamous rhino. Her former job of Alaska Department of Administration Commissioner practically yells conservative. Terrible. Department of Administration Commissioner. And I wonder if he's being sarcastic about that thing, yelling commissioner. Alaska Department of Administration Commissioner. Because that doesn't sound conservative to me. And if Based AF, hold on, let me see. Because Kelly can be a man's name. So let me just search this name. Oh no, it's a blonde lady who looks like Nicole Kidman or something like that. Pale blonde-ish lady. Another like wannabe look-alike to Ann Coulter, like that lady who ran in Georgia, who everybody says is a phony. Yeah, Trump alums sign up with a new Murkowski opponent. Yeah, you know. By the way, two Based America First, Chris, White Chris, Skateboard White Chris, as Lin Yanshin calls him, thanks you for the birthday present, the birthday gift, the gift. Awesome. Thanks, man. That's cool. We'll be seeing you, man. The gift card. Very cool. Faithful supporter. Okay. So, guys, I was thinking about music, and you just heard some white music at the beginning of the show. Actually, two white songs, if you count the Hake Report, La La La. It originally written, it was rewritten and re-recorded. You heard the re-recorded version by the Irishman. Does that count as white? And originally written by an Americanized Mexican. And then these people who wrote this song, Frodus is kind of, or was kind of, I considered them sort of Christian. Were they Hispanic or white, were they white Hispanic, or were they just white? But I noticed, I was listening to some music and I heard this guy's voice going, something like that. And what is that guy's name who killed himself? He hanged himself. Chris Cornell. Like that. It was a poor imitation, what I just did, of his voice. But you know how his voice is, if you're familiar with this Chris Cornell guy, he's a famous person who killed himself a few years ago or several years ago. After or before, another whiny, angsty vocalist, singer guy also killed himself. A father of like 5 or 6 children. I've talked about these two guys before. Chester Bennington of Lincoln Park, a Trump hater. There's Chris Cornell. And he has like these haunting vocals, right? Is he white? Or was he white? He's not. He's dead now. He's neither. Or is he part Hispanic? Regardless, this type of person has a messed up, he's spirit, says Joel, has a messed up mentality. And this guy ended up killing himself after he was well established, probably married, maybe even a family man, kind of like Chester Bennington. And I noticed that white music is either dark and depressed or angry, like this type of stuff, or it's just silly, or it's adopting an imitation of the other, the other cultures. In short, like it's a reflection of the weakness. Remember back in the day, or none of us remember, but back in the day, whites used to make what? Classical music? Like amazing music? But now it's tortured artist music. And then the blacks, they have this aggressive, hypersexual music, just like the blacks are, aggressive and hypersexual. And the Latin people, they have this bouncy, also like sexual kiss up to the woman music, which is what they are and do. Don't you notice that? And I think that it's a reflection of like the cultural decline of all three of those peoples on the whole. Now black music is getting like dark emo stuff. Yeah. I just noticed that. Somebody says Hake is wrong on this one, but I don't think I'm wrong on this. Unchained Melody. Why do I recognize that name? Is a hit and a slapper. Who did that one song? Unchained Melody. Is that Righteous Brothers? Yeah. No longer righteous. That's old. It's called reggaeton, Hake. Yeah. And you will notice that there are whites who like adopt these other. Look at Fleetwood Mac back in the day. Same thing. It was an adoption of this like world instruments. And one of those women like was proud that she got an abortion because then she had her Fleetwood Mac career. And she had that nice voice, I hear. Cardi B isn't black, please, Hake. Yeah, what is she, part Hispanic or mixed? But it just seems like the culture is declining and reflecting, and people who get into music too much. I had a crush on Stevie Nicks' Misty Loca. Yeah. Lil Nasty X. Old Town Road is from Lil Nasty X? I didn't know that. It's about him. Oh, wow. Bradley Smith says some eye-opening. My eyes are burning stuff about Old Town Road. And that's supposed to be supposedly a country song, right? I did not know that that was Lil Nasty X. I hadn't made the connection. Yeah, do you think Old Town Road is about being gay? Probably so. It's just sick. And it reflects the decline of each. Like, I think it reflects look at the white cultures around the world, declining, oppressed, weak, overly nice, and inviting everybody in who hates them and destroys them, and self-destructive too. I think that's what's going on. Is there any white country that's like staying a white country and thriving? I don't think so. Anyway, before I get back to calls, I want to tell you about this LGBTQ Home Depot, which is anti-Christian. A writer, I believe, for PJ Media named Tyler O'Neill, he tweeted out last week, the Home Depot Foundation co-sponsored, and I may have some screenshots of this Home Depot mess, co-sponsored a systemic racism resource hub, meaning they gave money to this thing, that smears Christians as haters, just like the military is trying to do. Not the rank and file so much, although many of them too, but the so-called leadership, and directs users to the 1619 Project, which was a made-up revisionist history made by a red-headed Ronald McDonald-looking black female, propped up by the New York Slimes. 1619 Project curriculum, in the vein of that Howard Zinn communist who smears America as, oh, we are founded on slavery and genocide. Home Depot did not respond to PJ Media's requests for comment last week when this guy had tweeted this. The Resource Hub cites the SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center, which is a communist, atheist, in some cases Jewish, but they're just evil. Hate map. Hate map means they have a map of everybody that they hate, but they call them haters. They call, like, the Family Research Council haters. They call Proud Boys haters. They call everybody haters who's just basically a Christian or a nationalist of some sort, whether white or black. They call them haters. As relevant data for promoting diversity, that hate map inspired an attempted terrorist attack at the Family Research Council in D.C. in 2012. Some guy tried to bomb the place, I think. This week, the SPLC swore that it isn't anti-Christian at all. Uh-huh. Of course they are. They call anybody who opposes homosexuality haters. But nowadays, they pretend that there are Christians who are pro-gay. Nope. They're not Christians at all. Not at all. Tyler O'Neill went on, as I documented in my book, Making Hate Pay, the SPLC has a long history of placing mainstream conservative and Christian organizations on a hate group list. Yep. With the KKK. And the SPLC is worse than the KKK. This is part fundraising scam, part weapon to destroy political opponents. And he quote tweets a thread from a year ago. He put out this book called Making Hate Pay, The Corruption of the Southern Poverty Law Center, which they've been corrupt from the beginning because they were founded by communists. They don't even belong in America, honestly. Available on Amazon now, he says. And he claims that the civil rights organization was once noble, but I seriously doubt that. So this guy might be a bit of a normie, this Tyler O'Neill guy. He writes for PJ Media, which is like a sort of a mainstream conservative outlet, I think. But he says, meanwhile, the 1619 Project has undergone a series of embarrassing corrections that effectively conceded that its central claim was blatantly false. The arrival of the first slaves, not in 1619, did not mark America's true founding. Scholars have called the Pulitzer Committee to revoke the project's Pulitzer Prize. I'm not surprised that they won a Pulitzer Prize. Pulitzer has zero credibility. Trump didn't even win a Pulitzer Prize, but Obama did for getting elected and being black and liberal and evil. That is ridiculous. So that's that. I'm going to talk about this Georgia mess because I see the mainstream media really going after Georgia for simply wanting voter integrity. And one of my callers talked about, it may have been Bobby in Texas. One of my callers talked about how you heard Earl on the show last week talking about they're trying to ban people from giving water to people in line. I've waited for some time sometimes to vote, and I was never given water. But they're saying, somebody called in, a conservative person called into my show and clarified that's because politicians and activists give them water and say, hey, vote for me or vote for such and such. Shenanigans. There's major shenanigans going on, and it has been going on a long time. Anyway, let me get to Bobby in Texas. He wants to comment on my interview with John Friend of the Realist, I-S-T, report. Did he get a haircut? No, I guess I have water left in it or something. Bobby in Texas, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning, buddy.
Good morning.
Yeah, I caught the interview that you did last night. I thought it was amazing.
Nice.
I thought you did a really good job on there. You had a lot of strong points. I really liked when you got to talk about the election and the all of that business. I thought that was cool because you don't really get to go into detail on YouTube. So that was kind of a...
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was a little more free to talk because I wasn't on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook.
Yeah, I thought that was really good, though. I thought you did a good job. I was interested.
Nice. That's cool.
And I thought you really did a good job at selling as to why you thought Trump was a good president, because he was in disagreement with you. But I think after you were finished, I have to think he he might have changed that opinion a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, he didn't say anything that I could really disagree with when in his criticisms of the Trump performance.
Yeah,
it's just that
I think he might have changed an opinion in that speech that you gave there.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know, but he I think he just had the wrong expectations.
Right. Yeah, that's what it seemed like. He hadn't had these those pie in the sky ideas that Trump was just going to be able to do everything, to say everything in one foul swoop.
Yeah.
You have to deal with politicians when you're in office. And that's kind of the problem with America at this point, is there's too many politicians out for corporate, needs, corporate wants.
They're morally weak people. They're not for what's right. Not to be trusted.
And I've been kind of on the topic of the Georgia election since now you're interested.
Yeah, I'm glad that you've been on it a bit.
Yeah, so I've been talking to some people, and I've gotten a couple, not usually just people that are disagreeing, but it kind of gives me an idea to understand what their idea is. And one guy, he's coming out saying, well, if you give them your ID, then they can make a list and know who everybody voted for. I'm like,
they don't need your ID for that, buddy.
Yeah, what do you call social media?
And they separate your ballot from your name so that they can't track you.
Well, with the Dominion voting systems, when you go in to vote, you give them your ID, they give you a code.
Right.
You go to the machine, you punch in your code, and then you put in your vote. So I wouldn't say that they can't track what you say, who you vote for with that. But I just said, well, get rid of Dominion voting systems, go back to a paper ballot. Nobody can track who you voted for. Everybody that votes is a citizen. Everybody that votes has the right to be there.
Yep.
And if you're and I said, and he kept arguing, disagreeing. Hey, if you're so worried about it, don't vote.
Yeah.
If you don't want them to know who you voted for, don't do it.
I know. And honestly, Dominion and Smartmatic, if you look at their Twitter feeds, those are not conservative or even nonpartisan people. They want every liberal person. They push the diversity thing and all that mess. They want every liberal person voting. So. And
you read Coca-Cola's response to, because I guess Coca-Cola is a Georgia-based company. Looks like Aflac, Georgia, or Coca-Cola, Aflac, and a couple other big companies. So, but none of them. They all made statements, but they all were, in my opinion, it seemed to be kind of backing what Georgia was doing as keeping a secure election and having integrity in the election is a good thing.
Right.
And I don't see why anybody, unless you're interested in stealing the election, you wouldn't be worried about having your election be free, fair, and safe.
Yep, exactly. And the only thing that they can come up with, voting rights violations, racism. Give me a break. You're only making the blacks look dishonest.
Yeah, and the fact that Georgia is willing to waive any revenue from voter IDs, just giving them for free.
Right.
I mean, how can you be more, accommodating
exactly.
than that?
Yep. It's ridiculous.
You're going to call it, you're racist for making us have to prove that we're Americans. It's well, if you weren't letting in 120,000 immigrants last month, maybe we wouldn't have to worry about such a problem. But you refuse to secure the border, and you're just letting in crazies all the time as voting blocks. So we have to have some sort of, integrity in the election.
Yeah. I appreciate you being on this, man. Are you the one who told me that? Are you the one who told me that people were electioneering while handing out water to people?
Yeah, they had the people that were running for senator in Georgia and in Georgia mainly, since that's what we're on. They were handing out water at the lines. So, and they had staffers, volunteers handing out water. So it's blatant campaigning at the polls, which is illegal.
Yeah. You know what else? I remember seeing pictures of Philadelphia or somewhere. Philadelphia first. You know how they say America first. Now they're into Philadelphia first, these blacks. And they have this whole list as a poster, as a little handout that one guy was handing out to people in line, telling them who to vote for, how to vote. Yes on this measure, no on this measure. That was that was electioneering that happened allegedly, according to photographic evidence. It looked like it, at least circumstantially. It looked like electioneering at the polling place, which you're not supposed to do.
Yeah,
and telling people how to vote.
I couldn't wear my Trump mask when I went to vote.
Yeah.
They made me take it off. So, I mean, why? How can you have it be fair to have a senator or his staff handing out water bottles to people in the line? And it's just, it's retarded.
Yeah.
So I went and I took a page out of your book. I called while I was feeding my cattle this morning, I called up the office of Greg Abbott, and I told him that I wanted to see him stepping up and helping, and doing the same thing that George is doing and speaking out against, the left that's fighting against any form of reform for the election.
Nice. That's
so hopefully
cool.
I'll do that a few more times, see if I can get a little bit of push for that.
Exactly. I think that the people should pressure the rhinos because the rhinos cave to pressure. They don't necessarily agree with the stuff that they're falling for. In some cases, I think they do, but they go along with pressure. If they see pressure from the people to do what's right, I think that you might get them to function a little bit. So definitely don't give up.
At least getting my voice out there, hopefully. And I also bitched about complained about this vaccine passport nonsense. Because DeSantis had stepped up against it, so I told Abbott, get to it, step up, bud.
Yes. Yeah, these private companies are no better than the government. They're evil. They're supporting evil. And you saw them supporting evil with supporting Black Lives Matter. So you think they're going to look out for your best interests with regard to the vaccine and the virus? Nope, I don't buy it.
Absolutely
It's just pretense.
The opposite. Yeah, I'll let you go. Thanks for
Thank you, Bobby.
Call,
good to hear from you.
Have
Take care. All right. Very nice. Zach in Columbus, Ohio. He wants to talk about white and black music, both degenerate, I say. What's up, Zach? How you doing?
What's up, James? How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Nice.
With the whole white and black music thing, white music is a little bit better than black music. Like you said, both of them are bad, but I think a lot of black music promotes horrible stuff and horrible things.
Yeah.
Like, killing. Like, that's probably, I think, why black on black crime is high. Because they listen to these songs and they're talking about killing each other and, killing moms and killing cousins and smoking weed and doing crack and all this stuff. So I feel like white music is a little bit better than the black music.
I think that it's less violent and less outwardly sexual so much in some cases, like exceptions to the rule, right? But the country, a lot of it is pathetic. On both sides, it's getting more and more female and feminized and weak and pathetic. Like especially the Latin people. They're like, have these lilting voices. Oh, and just so pathetic over girls, over like women.
Yeah,
I'm thinking
a lot of them.
Romeo Santos.
Who is Romeo? I've never heard it. Heard of him before.
He was with a group called Aventura. And so Joel wants to know, how did it go?
He was Mexican?
Yeah, it's something. He was something. That's funny. Now it's hot in here.
But no, yeah, a lot of people at my school are trying the whole rap thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, they suck. And
That's funny.
It's like, why are you even doing this whole rap thing? Like, you have 20 followers on Instagram, and you get 1 view on your SoundCloud. So why are you even trying the whole rap thing?
Yeah. Joel says, hey, I have 30. I mean, you gotta start small. I mean, a lot of people start small. Aventura is horrible. He's Dominican. He black. Oh, thank you, Willie Palomino. Yeah.
Oh, and
black
real
Hispanic.
Quick to Maze said I need to get my GPA up. Even though I go to a liberal school, I'm about to drop a bomb on her real quick. I have a 3.8 GPA. I'm in National Honor Society, 3-time high honor roll student for all my 3 years of high school. So, and I got accepted into Ohio State as a junior. So take that, Maze.
Yeah, I know.
And if you want my transcript, I'll send it to you, Maze.
I'm not surprised to hear this. In fact, I would have guessed that you were a 4.0 student or a 4.2 student or a 4.5 or whatever they do nowadays. But I'm actually not surprised that you do just enough to do quite well for yourself. Remind me of my oldest brother. He would just do A's and B's. B's are fine. But you're doing even better than that. And I can tell that you're smart, that you're seem like a well-disciplined person, that you're able to excel in the academic world.
Very well. I want to know what Maze is doing to excel. No, I'm just kidding.
Black excellence. That's funny.
And I know you've talked about the Lil Nas X. I know you're calling him Lil Nasty X.
Right.
But what do you think of, I haven't heard you say anything because I haven't been watching Jesse for the past 3 days. But what do you think about all that?
I don't think much about it. I haven't looked into it. I've only heard stuff about it. And I saw one picture about his shoes that he's released. I heard that Nike is suing because they violated the copyright or something. How's my stream? Is my stream okay, guys? I think it's okay. Lost connection, trying to reconnect on the Periscope. It might just be our connection here. But it's Periscope unable to reconnect. But everybody else seems fine. Oh, actually, Noah's Ark, Kansas is saying F for fail. Stream seems okay to base America first. Wow. Okay.
Wow. I think on YouTube it's good.
Yeah, I think on everything except for Periscope. We are approaching the 31st of March, right? Tomorrow is the last. Oh, D-Live dropping. I think there may be something going on. Can you pull up that thing to see how it looks? But anyway, I'm going to continue talking regardless, despite you guys maybe having problems. Seems fine as far as what we're on our end. Looks normal. Zach, you asked what I think of Nasty X. I think he's an evil person. I didn't realize that he was an open, brazen, shameless homosexual and promoting that. Yeah. He's young. What else do you expect? What is he, in his early 20s? So he's just an immature, grew up in this degenerate culture that pretends that that's normal. So I don't really hold it against him per se, nor against the evil people who promote him, because that's, as JLP always says, that's their job. I kind of am happy to ignore it for the most part, really. Yeah, D-Live is down, guys. D-Live and Periscope is down. But he's a tool of Satan right now. And so are the people who are promoting him. And honestly, people who are overreacting to it. Because, yeah, it's completely evil. He has no business putting that stuff out there and being disgusting and promoting 666. It's really sick stuff.
It is, and it's sad to see because a lot of kids listen to him, with the Old Town Road and everything.
Yeah, that's what I heard, is that he has a lot of children fans, and he appeared a year ago or less, or maybe a little more, on Sesame Street, which has had a long decline themselves. They've been promoting the fake stuff, too. The fake racism.
And he was even on Roblox. You know what that is?
No. Roadblock?
Roblox, like R-O and then block.
Wow. No, I'm not familiar.
It's a children's game. You're like a square, and you can go around and play all these different games. He had a whole concert on this game, and most of the game is filled with 8-year-olds, probably 8 through 12, I would say, maybe even some younger. But they had a whole concert with him.
Yeah. Wow, that's terrible. No,
terrible.
That's why I say that these people target children. You know, the LGBTQIA stuff, the race fakers, the racism fakers, the people who hate whites. They target and abuse and lie to children, and the women, the females, are the worst offenders in terms of the mothers. They take them to these drag queen story hours. Some males do it too, but for the most part, it's misguided mothers, and they've been promoting this stuff for a long time. It's sick.
Single mothers.
Yep. Yeah, single mothers, but also like weak married couples too. Nike, I heard that Nike sued because they said, oh, we don't want that to be associated with our brand. We're not part of this.
Yeah, and
But Nike's evil too. Nike hired that Colin Kaepernick, and Colin Kaepernick lies to the black kids and white kids and every kid too. He's not a good example.
Thug.
Yeah. He's a liar.
I remember when that was going on. I was pretty young then.
Yeah.
Maybe 7th, 8th grade.
Yep.
Dang.
And just kneeling and pretending that. And there were kids that were back live on D Live. It looks like. Thank you. Periscope sending data, trying to reconnect. Yeah, I remember high schoolers and younger, like little football player kids kneeling for the anthem, pretending that they know what they're talking about, and the coaches were part of the problem too. The so-called football coaches.
A lot of black high school football coaches.
Yep. Yeah.
Immoral ones too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not good.
Yep. And before I go, on Instagram and TikTok and everything, they're blowing up that Derek Chauvin's lawyer said that George Floyd was overdosing, but I'm like, he's his lawyer. What else is he supposed to do? Right. And it's true.
It is true. He was overdosing. He had overdose levels of fentanyl. I don't know if he had. I don't know if in the autopsy they found any liquid in his lungs. But when you are overdosing on fentanyl, one of the symptoms I heard was that you have trouble breathing for whatever reason. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, James.
Thank you,
nice
man.
Talking to you.
Yeah, nice talking with you as well, Zach. Appreciate you.
Yep.
All right, take care.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. It's gross stuff. They put out, you always hear about different videos, different music videos doing one shocking thing or another over the decades, honestly. Remember they were complaining about Elvis Presley at one time, and look how far we've fallen since then. Joe in Phoenix, Arizona. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm doing well. Hake, how are you?
Doing well as well, thank you.
You keep saying black music and white music. James, there's not a single genre that doesn't have black folks and white folks doing that kind of music. So what is white music? What is black music?
It's quite distinctive when you consider it. White music has a little bit more like weirdness or creativity or darkness or harshness to it. And then the black music is more like thumpy. It seems trying to be dense to not notice the difference between the black culture music and the white culture music on the whole. I know that there is crossover. Different, like, blacks gravitate more towards white music and different whites gravitate a lot towards blacks music. But when you look at the style, the feel of it, it's quite distinct, and it kind of reflects what's wrong with the cultures, the white culture and the black culture.
We disagree on that because, again, whether it's rap or country, you can find white folks and black folks doing that kind of music.
Right. But that's just a reflection of those people.
Well, that's my whole point.
But you don't really have a point because rap is a black thing that whites got into, and country is a white thing that blacks got into.
I don't know about that. I mean, again, if you look at the
and then even folk music was made. I noticed that folk music, a bunch of them is like Jewish atheist hippies or whatever.
I don't know much about folk music. But again, if you go back to the origins,
if you look back at some of those most famous folk singers, they are not. It's pushing this anti-war stuff and just like feel good and hippie and mess.
My whole point is that you look at the origins of any genre of music and you will find multiple people doing that from the very beginning.
But that's a silly point because it doesn't reflect the culture at large. But it's irrelevant to my point. You're pretending that there is no black culture and that there is no white culture. It's basically what you're pretending.
There's not.
Of course there is.
Of course there is not.
Okay.
Melanin count does not define culture, James.
Huh?
Melanin count does not define culture. It's what people do.
What's the first what Noam count? Noam count?
Melanin count.
Oh, melanin count.
Melanin.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't say that it defined culture, but they reflect. Some phenomenon happens in which blacks tend to gravitate to one culture or other amongst in a field, and then whites same thing. Why do you think that it is that they pretend that it's racist to push voter ID? Because as a whole, per capita, blacks are less likely to have their ID or something like that, they claim. You're pretending that there's no difference between how the people act.
Simplification, James.
Huh?
Oversimplification. It's an oversimplification. Black folks are not less likely to have IDs. It's just, voter ID laws is a very complicated topic, but we're getting off topic here. But again, there's plenty of good artists, white and black, that are pushing good, wholesome, good value music.
Name one.
Today. Sure. Leon Bridges.
Leon Bridges. That's that black guy, right?
He's a black guy, yeah.
I've heard that name before. Anyway.
Check out his lyrics.
He says Joel.
He talks about getting married before having kids, real love songs.
Yeah.
That is about love and commitment and, raising a family, not just all sex and sexualized. And I love your generalization that black folks are sexualized. And it drives me crazy. But
it's reality, though.
Part of your stick. No, James, it's not.
Yes, it is reality. On the whole, that's what they're into.
It's an example of how it's not. And
you gave me one example out of, and I can give you 1,000 other examples that they're completely the opposite direction.
Okay. And I give you 1,000 examples of any other.
No, you cannot, because on the whole, you're in denial of reality, Joe.
You're not in denial, James. It's just facts.
No, you're citing facts to distract from the truth.
You look just like Jesse. You look for only the bad.
I don't have to look. They put it in your face, Joe.
Yes, and that's by design too, James.
Yeah.
Mainstream media and Hollywood, they are incented to portray black folks as thugs and
the blacks portray themselves this way.
Some do, yes. Some do, not all. Not even
I didn't say all. I said the culture at large, on the whole.
No, Jan, because again, we've had this argument many times. Ghetto culture is not black culture, but that is what's pushed.
I wasn't even just pushing ghetto culture.
Sure you are.
No, I was not. I was talking about sexual, angry, aggressive. That's more than just ghetto.
Well, no, that is ghetto.
You may think so, but you're being silly. Honestly, you're being silly and obstinate. But it's not surprising. It's not surprising. Yeah.
Yeah, we can go to the whole snake conversation. You think I'm one? I know you are one. So just one time, go to goodblacknews.com and read some positive black news stories. I dare you. Just once, James.
Whatever.
Yeah, because you won't do that, and neither will Jessica, because it's not your narrative. You want to continually only push negative stories about black folks.
Practically every positive story that you've ever come up with, there's been something evil underneath it.
According to you.
Yeah, according to reality. You came up with this guy, this black...
And spin things.
You came up with this black cop from Minneapolis who worked at one time with Derek Chauvin, and he did a coaching thing at some high school with black kids, and and he worked with
good
white
story.
coaches and stuff like that. And it's supposed to be some positive story. Hold on. It's supposed to be some positive story, and then you hear him smearing Derek Chauvin and
He's not
pretending that
smearing.
this
All
racism
he said
and
was
pretending
that
this
he had-
racism thing was a real thing.
All he said that he had 20 complaints in over 19 years, including
That's
two.
not all he said. He said a whole lot more than just that.
He did
and
not smear him at all. He simply stated
Of course he
facts about
smeared
it.
him.
He did not. He said, I
Yes,
wasn't
he did.
surprised
And
that
he
had-
believes in the racism thing. So you're not being realistic. You're not being honest.
So he has a different opinion of
When
him.
Jesus
So that is
talked with
smearing according to these
when Jesus came, he's like, the Son of Man came for the sinners, the people who are sick. And when we talk about stuff, we talk about what's wrong. But you want to close your eyes to what's wrong and only look at what's right. Look at what's right with
Never
the black
took
culture.
I just want a bit of balance. That is it.
It is. I am quite balanced, but you are imbalanced because you're into
You
the
have
black
never
thing.
said one single positive news story about black people. You don't balance
False.
at all.
That's false. I say
That is
quite a lot
absolutely
of
true.
positive things about blacks, but you don't want to hear it
Never.
because you're
You have
blind
never said
and into the black thing.
Not one. You're into your whiteness because you can only feel better about yourself if you're putting down black folks. That is it, James.
Okay, Mr. I'm a psychologist. What a phony.
It's plainly obvious to see.
Okay.
Okay, Snake. I'll call you later. Bye.
All right, bye. Interesting. Go listen to If That Ain't Country by David Allen Coe and get back to me. Coe. Interesting. Thank you guys for putting up with the stream issues. It looks like we are back online on Periscope. Let me pull this down and bring it back up. I should be back. Let's see. Let me talk with Lucas in Alhambra, California. Haven't heard from him in a little bit. What's up, Lucas? How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Hake, how are you doing?
Doing well as well. Thank you.
Yes. I just wanted to ask you a question. Like, do you believe that, like, the Republicans and the Democrats, they both share the same quality, as in they don't really think about God and Christianity?
Yeah, big time.
So you notice it as well, right? You recognize it, that there's really not a difference. Like, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, the right, all right, they supported Trump.
They were supposed to, the Republican Party, I thought in its platform, at least a platform a decade or two ago, believed in God and families and morality and the country and putting America first and doing right and being actually just and actually free. But the people don't hold to that. Neither the voters nor the politicians. It's just like Christians. Christians don't hold to Christianity.
Yes, and the anger and hate as well, right? Like that, I believe that's the real problem. Like, because I go, you know me, I'm an activist. I go to these things, and there's just so much anger and hate and judgment every time with me and my girlfriend. We have our own thing. It's like I'm trying to understand, like, why, what happened, like, because this wasn't like that, and maybe it's because of things I said. But then I'm starting to learn that they don't support the First Amendment in actuality.
Who doesn't support the First Amendment in actuality?
The Republicans.
What Republicans are you running into?
Well, that's what I was going to tell you about as well. So, like, what is your opinion on, like, the Proud Boys?
Proud Boys? Because it's a big it's a big group of people. It's a mixed bag. You're going to find a lot of decent guys, a lot of people who, most of them want what's right. And then you're going to find some people who are angry or bitter or whatever.
Well, over here in LA, like, I've been recognizing that they're actually just like the bullies of the right side of the rallies. Like, they're really bullies. They don't believe in the First Amendment. They believe in fake news. And
well,
I just wanted to get that.
There has always been, even in the Tea Party would throw out people who would show up with Nazi flags or KKK or maybe even the Confederate flag in some cases. Like, and it's not necessarily that they don't believe in the freedom of speech. It's because they think that there are infiltrators who are trying to make a mockery of them, either whether they're liberals or they're people who are just so-called extremists who are trying to latch onto the group and join in. And I can't really make a judgment either way, whether it's a violation of their freedom of speech or if it's they just don't want you associated with their thing.
Yeah.
A lot of times people want to disassociate. It's kind of like seeing when you see somebody who you take to be a troublemaker, you distance yourself from that person because you don't want the trouble that they're bringing on themselves to be in your crowd. That's one thing I actually like about the right is that we're kind of self-policing. There is times where these guys go overboard with the self-policing thing, like, oh, that sounds like Nazi stuff. And they're just, you do have the freedom of speech, but they also try to keep things orderly. And that's why right-wing protests don't tend to get violent or destructive, because they put the clamp down and they're more civilized naturally.
Yeah, well, lately with me.
Are you trying to join in? Are you trying to join into their protests?
No, most definitely not. No, we already have social dystopia going on. Like we are not joining in on anything. We're going to our Trump rallies that we are Republicans, and I've been getting.
So it's a rally that you organize?
No, it's a rally that is organized for people on the right. But it could be for anyone as long as nobody doxes anyone, And, they just keep to themselves and not a part. Because there are a lot of Antifa infiltrators, reporters. I'm already on, Chad Loader. I don't know if you know who that a-hole is. But it's just like they have their targets so often. It's like right now, currently, I just kind of don't know what to do because they're attacking people that are on the side of, rally, like the right side of Trump rallies, So I'm just like, I'm just trying to get your opinion. What do you think would be a good? Because they want me to apologize for something that I'd never even said, and it's a fake account as well. People are making fake accounts on me and my girl, and so I just want to know what's the best way to approach a situation like that?
Just say that that wasn't me, and I would never say that. And I don't agree with that statement.
That didn't work. So what do I do?
Well, I don't get why you have to be involved in this.
The Trump rally?
With this drama.
Oh, well, because they want to they're trying to.
Who's they again?
They're trying to hurt the yellow and blacks, Proud Boys.
You said the BLM blacks and the Proud Boys?
No, the yellow and black.
Oh, yellow and blacks? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're into some drama that I'm not interested in.
Okay.
You really don't even have to be. It doesn't sound like you really have to be involved in this drama. You don't even have to respond.
Yeah. So next time, just ignore it. But I'm just saying, it's just kind of funny because they, I thought they were supposed to.
But it's odd that you're confused about it because if you know yourself, then you know human nature and you know where people are coming from, and you don't have to get my take or Jesse's take on it because you already know that some people have evil hearts, and so you don't have to go talk to other people about Proud Boys or any other group because you already know where people are coming from. So you cut them some slack, you show some mercy, you back off and keep your distance from them if they are causing you trouble, and you go your merry way and just live your life, and you can show up to protests, and if you see them, just keep your distance from them and don't engage with them if they really want trouble like that.
Is it? Do you think I have some kind of control or anything where I can say my words? But is there something do you think? Because what I'm trying to do is make everyone drop the anger and hate, bring back Christianity.
It might be you need to check yourself because
you think so?
Yeah, because if you're confused about them, then it seems to imply that you don't know yourself, because if you knew yourself, you would understand them.
Well, yeah, I do know myself, but I've been studying my guy. I just wanted to get see maybe and I'm gonna look at the comments too. Maybe they got something to say too about it, because I'm just trying to figure it out. We're all growing. I'm growing still.
But this is not something that you can. This is not something that you want to get into figuring out. You know what I mean? Because people are evil, and you just know that. It's not something you have to figure out regarding other people. If you know yourself, you can see for yourself, and you just You
I
don't
guess my
even
question
worry
is, should I
about
let him?
you don't even worry about the infighting on the right, and you don't participate in it. But it seems like you're starting to get sucked into that.
Well,
that
so I guess my
infighting
question
stuff.
is, should I let people know? That's pretty much my question. Should I let people know the hate and anger that's coming from the right? Because we already know about the left. It's easy. It's no problem to pick and choose out of that. But should I? Because people are following these people and listening to these people, and they're not at all.
Take the plank out of your own eye before you take the speck out of others' eyes.
Okay.
You definitely, if you do see it, yeah, mention it. But don't press it on them. Don't force it. Don't get all hyped up or on a high horse about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Because you may be on an ego trip and not realize it.
No, people keep saying that. No, I'm far from ego. Believe me, I'm the most humble person, and probably in the rallies.
Okay.
But, no, I see what you mean.
And your girlfriend too. Check her. Make sure you check her, because she could be stirring up trouble and you don't realize it. I don't know. I don't know her.
No.
I like her. I don't know her. But I'm just saying, the dynamic duo there. You don't want to be the troublemakers that nobody likes. For no good reason. I mean.
Yeah, most definitely. No, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Well, just want to get your 2 cents, and I want to keep you updated.
Because I don't really want to get into that infighting and drama. I like the Proud Boys. I know there's decent and indecent people in there.
I love them too.
And I like you. And I know that you want what's right, but it's the way that you're coming at me with these questions is kind of odd.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not trying to pull you. No, I'm not trying to pull you in my beef or anything. No. Don't get me wrong.
It feels like gossip.
No.
I do like calling out the anger on the so-called right. I like calling out that fear and the anger and the stuff like that. Of course. That's why we say, keep it calm. Take it in stride. Know yourself.
I tried to get a hold of Jesse to talk about it, because I wanted to talk more about it at church last Sunday, but I just didn't want to get too political, and that it was more of a radio show kind of talk.
Right.
But but I'll try to get on Jesse's show tomorrow and ask him, just because I'm trying to figure it out. I'm just trying to figure out.
But this is not. It doesn't seem advisable to try to figure this out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of.
Because if you're led by God, you don't need my advice or Jesse's advice. You can see for yourself. I mean, if you want private counseling, that may be best, because then you're not putting other people's mess out there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I think I might recommend that.
Okay.
Because I just, it gives me a creepy feeling. I totally like you, and but it's weird to me.
Okay. I know it's a little too extreme political. It's really getting into the depths of things, because
What? Oh, you're breaking up, Lucas. Well, thanks, man. We'll talk.
Yeah. All right. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good to hear from you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Oh, yeah. Okay. We're at the top of the hour. I got to get back to calls after this. I want to talk with Mark in San Diego and Rick in Hampton, Virginia. I didn't get to Rick yesterday, I don't believe. And the rest of you, I do want to talk about this Georgia mess a little bit. And they're comparing it to Jim Crow. Give me a break. And the vaccine passports. The vaccine passports. You know what that is? That's when they don't let you, the private companies, as well as the government, infringe on your rights because they want to force you to get a vaccine, which is not even logical. They go away from logic to push their fake rules. Thanks, guys. Hang tight. Couple of minutes here for the rest of hour 2.
bet you're on the right.
Skip says, I'm sorry, but James Hake has the worst taste in music I've ever heard. Cringe, cringe, cringe face. And that is John Parfit, also known as Bright Lights, In the End, right? But not that one song, In the End, it doesn't even matter. And then he killed himself. Like 18 years later, he killed himself. I'm talking about the Linkin Park guy. This song is not bad. I like it, says Wesley Pipes. Yeah. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. Doesn't sound like a clean name. Sorry about that, guys. Joel knows that song too. He types the whole thing, matter.
In the end.
That's funny. Cringe. But is John Parfit an example of white music? Maybe so. Yeah, man. I don't want to get into it. But anyway, if you have peace, you don't have confusion. I think. That's what my take is. You don't get into weird things. And you don't have conflict. And you don't get into unnecessary drama or infighting. You're kind of arm's length and separate from the world, even while cooperating with people who you may not entirely agree with. Nice. I gotta get to Mark in San Diego, California. Long time no hear. Mark, how are you?
Hey, James, what's going on?
Hey, not much.
Yeah, I was just thinking about a couple of things with this, like, black culture thing.
Yeah.
And a couple of interesting things occurred to me. I know you're not the biggest fan, but Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
He says that the highest ideal someone holds is their God. It answers the same thing. It was interesting. He was on the Joe Rogan show when he said that. He was like, Joe Rogan was like, yeah, I don't believe in God. He's like, yeah, you know, it's fun. You can say that, but, you know, everyone's motivated by something.
Yeah.
You know? And Bevelyn Beatty on the Fallen Stage, remember her? She was pouring the paint over the Black Lives Matter.
Yes, right. The black lady.
She said, yeah,
young woman.
She said, this is their God, holding up her arm, showing her black skin. And, you know, everyone was just like, yes.
Right.
And that is why, you know, when someone says anything about blacks, like they're not oppressed, or they commit a bunch of crimes or abortions, you just automatically get not all blacks, generalization, like it's like a knee-jerk reaction. Whites do it too.
Right.
You know, it's like it's not what I said. I said that, you know, they do it at a higher rate. It's like whites do it too. It's like you're talking to a wall, you know?
Yeah. It's very
and
true.
Then, I mean, we heard today, apparently, that there's no such thing as black culture.
I know.
And Thomas Sowell said in his book, Black Rednecks and White Liberals, that he talks about exactly where in Britain that culture came from, where you would say axe or ask, for example.
Uh-huh.
And they settled in the South, and that culture is still alive today. And he said it held back the Brits back then, and it holds back the blacks today.
Wow.
And another really cool thing that Thomas Sowell said was after World War II, a lot of American soldiers settled in Germany, but both black and white. Their kids went to high school and had no difference in IQ, which is not the story over here, right? The blacks and whites have a large difference in IQ.
Yep.
And when the interviewer asked Thomas Sowell, why is that? He said, there's no gangster rap in Germany.
Wow.
I mean, there is now, but obviously in the 40s, you know what I mean, that was a different. But, yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard to miss what people are talking about. And I think, you know, some of the callers pointed out more when they say things like, oh, whites do it too, and, you know, you're not, basically, the implication is you're racist for saying anything.
Yeah.
You know? You're not allowed to say that, and it's like, I'm pointing out a fact.
Right.
How does that make me anything?
Yeah.
You know?
And it's in order to help the situation.
Yeah, I mean, like, the premise of pointing out the fact is that we're all on the same team here.
Yep.
And let's point out what's going on so we can do something about it.
Yeah.
And then when someone says, no, we're not on the same team, I serve black skin. You know what I mean? And anything that you say against it makes me go against you.
Yeah. They're so fake, too. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Which is kind of like the definition of racism, right?
Yep.
like the skin matters to them, you know?
Yeah. They're accusing you of being what they are.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why they don't see, like Joe from Phoenix, doesn't see the wisdom and truth that Jesse preaches. He thinks that Jesse's a fake Christian when it's him that's the fake. And everybody can see it.
Yeah, I think Joe kind of lost a step. You know, he used to be a little quicker.
Yeah.
And
but even then, like, he was always dull in that sense.
Sure. No, I mean, he was never coming, in my opinion, from a place of truth.
Right.
You know? He was coming from a place of what I'm describing, where the black thing is your God. That's what matters, 1, 2, and 3. And number 4 is maybe the truth, or, you know, the rest of the country and God or whatever. That comes way later. But it was just a little more, you know, sometimes he would be a little more sneaky and interrupt you a little bit quicker with something else and kind of distract. And, you know, if you're not paying attention, people are going to be like, well, that guy kind of won. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, today I was like, man, maybe you need some coffee or something, you know, to...
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that evil eats you up and messes with you physically, mentally, spiritually. And it's not good. And he doesn't see that JLP's message is his best friend, but he just blind.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about this all the time because I've been working on the house lot and get a lot of the Browns over here working, you know?
Uh-huh.
And as you can imagine, they don't like me. And they're like, what is that? No, but you speak Spanish, but you're, you know, my white friends always say that. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. Like, there's nothing like a Mexican that has their God as like, I'm a victim.
Right.
I would be this Aztec king, and I'm so cultured and international.
Right.
And and it's like all of a sudden they meet someone who's been south of Ensenada and speaks more than kitchen Spanish, and it just destroys that whole identity.
Yeah.
You know? Because I don't see myself as a victim. I don't complain, and I don't like call like white people or whatever. I'll just say instantly, I'm like, what do you mean? That white guy over there works harder than you, you know?
Yeah.
And instantly I'm like Jesse when the blacks go against him, you know? So
yeah.
I even called the JLP show one time. He says that the most hated person is the white people. I say, no, it's the black conservative. You know what I mean? It's the Mexican conservative. No one is hated more than the Mexican, or, you know, when you're black or Mexican or whatever, and you're in a community where their whole vibe, collectively, they're like, we deserve more. We are better than other people. And the only reason our failures are here is because they're inflicted upon us.
Right.
You know?
And they accuse you of wanting to be white.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden, I'm the white guy, and it's supposed to be like an insult. And I'm like, so you're insulting me by calling me a different skin in the name of fighting racism, right?
Right.
Another skin color.
Yep.
It's like, it's a clown show.
Yeah.
You know, it's, again, there's a great quote by Jordan Peterson. He says, it takes significant, it's Thomas Sowell. It takes significant understanding and significant intelligence to understand the extent of your own ignorance. And Jordan Peterson says it in a different way. He says, you cannot understand until you understand your capacity for evil, you will never be able to understand your capacity for good.
Interesting. Yeah, so people do not realize how evil they are.
Right. I was going to say it's Jesse's message. He's like, as long as you know you're nothing, you have to be an idiot.
Right.
You know? Yeah. And then you're open. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You're not walking around thinking, poor me, or F that guy, or, you know what I mean? They did this to me, and, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the people come in here and they're hung up on some set of facts that they're into. And they think that they're citing the truth because they're citing facts that they're into, such as T and Earl and Tony and everybody.
And if God forbid Bible Go-To guy says anything, Maze is going to call.
Right, I know. Can't stand for a white to tell the truth about blacks. Interesting, man. Well, I appreciate it, Mark.
Yeah.
It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. We're always listening.
All right, appreciate it.
Bye.
Take care. Sixto re-whited with a super chat on streamlabs.com/the Hake Report. Says, OG, I think that means original gangster, right? Hake, slaying demons and beheading the snakes. Amazing. That's nice. And Sixto re-whited with another super chat on streamlabs.com/the Hake Report. It says, Chris Cornell, that's the guy that I mentioned who killed himself, of Soundgarden and Audio Slave, and Chester Bennington of Linkin Park were murdered. John Podesta is Chester's father. Oh yeah, somebody said something to the effect of he killed himself because of the pedophile rings or something. But I'm pretty sure these guys were dumb liberals. They may have, but I don't know. I don't really buy it, but I suppose it's possible. Thank you guys for the support on Trovo. Shout out to Asmodor hosting the Hake Report on his Trovo channel, and JLP hosting the Hake Report on the Hake Report channel. And Dark Side of the Bear, what? Always faithful, always there. Very nice. Derek says, tell Mark to stop making sense. Oh, Big Bump tweeted out, we're a long way from that Old Town Road, SMH. Yeah, because that Old Town Road, referring to Little Nasty X's country rap song, which turned out to be not that clean, at least pretended to be innocent, but now he's not even pretending. Pretty sick. Off the edge of the cliff. Before I get to Rick, hang tight, Rick, I will get to you, man. I want to touch on this. I've already talked about Home Depot. Georgia mess. A Georgia state representative, this took place last week, was detained outside the Georgia governor's office. And that Georgia governor is that rhino, I consider him a rhino, Brian Kemp. Joel Pollack of Breitbart, he's a writer for Breitbart. He tweeted, Psaki, as in Jen Psaki, that's the fake red-haired, well, she has real red hair, but I think it's dyed, just criticized Georgia State Patrol for this arrest of this black female House of Representatives Democrat woman. What was the name of this woman? Cannon? Representative Park Cannon. Detained by officials over this Georgia fake voting rights activism. There's Jen Psaki. Did I give you? Oh, and so people are calling this an insurrection because she was trying to interrupt an official proceeding in the name of the, not Jen Psaki, but this black female arrested by the troopers. Insurrection. John Ossoff, who's a Democrat from Georgia who was elected over the rhino Republicans who were trying to run for senators in Georgia, I believe. He said, I stand with Georgia State Representative Park Cannon, at Cannon458, who was arrested and charged with a felony for what? For knocking on Governor Kemp's office door as she tried to observe the cowardly closed-door signing ceremony for the voter suppression law, meaning voter integrity. This John Ossoff is not a Christian. He is a communist. And he's been trying to run for office for years. And look at this angry woman wearing her red communist mask and her, is that a peace sign pin on her? She's just a drama queen. And this him, Ben O'Keefe, black man with an Irish name person, Benjamin O'Keefe, tweeted out, Representative Park Cannon was arrested for knocking on Brian Kemp's door, the governor, as he was signing the egregious voter suppression bill, meaning voter integrity bill. This is disgusting. These officers had no right to arrest her or treat her so aggressively. They should, no doubt she was aggressive herself, they should face repercussions, and Representative Cannon must be released. And then he shows a picture of, from the, presumably the 60s, when some other black woman went down on her knees and forced the men to drag her, the cops and officials to drag her in the street because she was probably acting out of order. Who knows what the real story is? But this is over a voter integrity bill that you've been hearing about in Georgia. They want to keep the elections honest, or not keep them honest because they're not honest in the first place. Make them more honest. Make them more honest. According to individuals' featured footage shared to social media, Park Cannon was detained by officers on the scene after she, quote-unquote, knocked on the governor's door. "Stop! Where are you taking me?" she shouted as officers escorted her through the halls of the Georgia state capitol. You'll remember, January 6th, the so-called invaders, insurrectionists, invaded the Capitol building to try to interrupt a proceeding. That's the same thing that she was trying to do. What did she do? Can you cite the code? One individual said to reporters as Representative Cannon was being taken away from the scene. It's just drama. She doesn't want election integrity. She's a dishonest person, a Democrat. So typical. Give me a break. And they're comparing this Georgia voting law, the South, the beautiful South, smeared for wanting something honest. Fake President Biden said this past Thursday, right? It makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle. Shout out Jim Eagle in the chat. Jim Crow was not a person, but unlike most former presidents, he has a museum, the Jim Crow Museum of Racist Memorabilia. But it's fake. It's fake. They want to pretend that voter ID is racist and all that mess. And not being able to electioneer while giving water, pretending that you're just wanting to help the people. When you're a phony politician, should be allowed. Big shout out, Jim Eagle. Very nice. If they're calling it racist, you can be sure that there may be something that you should support. Hot Computer Smell says, with a super chat, Blats will be the first to say, stop benefiting off our labor, but will still pay taxes and not complain about how it's spent. Yeah. Rick hung up. Rick hung up. Let me get to Art in Ohio. Art, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm all right. How you doing, Hake?
Doing well, thank you. It is hot in here, though.
Is it?
Yeah. But that's not your problem.
Okay. Well, I got a little song I want to sing for you just real quick.
Uh-oh.
And then I'm like, all right, well, here it go. Look at all these betas surrounding me every day.
I like that song.
Oh, do you? Hey, so check this out. So, I had something to say about see how you feel about what somebody said on the Jesse Lee show.
Okay.
One of the dudes was saying that China and Russia, if they knew how bad that the males are over here in America, meaning beta-rise, liberals, and so weak, that they would be in a hurry to get over here to be trying to take us to war.
Huh. Interesting.
It was a caller that came on with Bill Lockwood when he was talking. He said that. Yeah.
I don't have an opinion on that. I'm not sure.
Well, I agree with what he's saying, but it's crazy because I think they already know. It's just like they China and Russia, they moving at their own pace. It's like, well, we know America's weak. We gonna attack them when we ready to. They ain't in a rush to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was about to say,
You know,
it was something else.
They talk about how to make America great again. And people wanted Trump to make leaps and bounds in one fell swoop, when meanwhile, people seem to be like ignoring the fact that our whole culture on the whole is rotted from within. And it's going to take more work than just getting even several or dozens of great politicians elected to local and state and national office. It's going to take people changing their lives for what's right so they become powerful people themselves and a good example and an influence. It's take one step at a time. One step at a time. It's great that Trump was able to come on the scene in a big way and set a decent example, but we have to keep on pushing and never give up. But a lot of people have given up on America.
Well, yeah, it's crazy you sitting there saying that, because that's the truth. Everybody sits and thinks that Trump was supposed to be able to train and fix everything in one swoop, when it's really an individual problem.
Yeah.
You have to address, just like a lot what you was saying to a caller ago. Like, you have to look at what you are doing or whatnot, how you participating in this demoralization of society, with just where it's been went to, as far as the females is leading, the men are feminized, and the females are acting like men, and it's all confusing. So it ain't doing nothing but causing society to be confused. But you can't just think a whole bunch of politicians or Trump can single-handedly change that. That's an individual problem.
Yes. Yeah, it's a shame that people they get caught up in this. They get caught up in like an ego battle with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then another thing, you got a lot of these liberal beta females running these houses, and they overturn their kids to people like the pervert tranny reader that was reading to the kids, to come to find out he allegedly got charges on him, because 6 charges on him for having pedophilia or something like that. But what I'm saying is it's more so the females that are leading the kids to your nasty /nice ex type of people. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
The generation of society, meaning that they don't have no morals, meaning the females. So when it ain't no men around, the kids, even the girls and the boys, they don't have the proper learning direction how the family is supposed to be. And then you got somebody like Nasty X on there, when the kids is playing Roblox, little games, and it's trying to be a kid, they trying to propagandize them with their gay agenda up under the mom's nose. Not even up under the mom's nose, because the mom is knowing, but they doing this against the will of the father. A lot of the fathers, they don't agree with this gay agenda.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I do. And it's like I was talking. Yes, sir. Just like I was talking to my brother last night, and I was remembering back when I was a kid, and my brother's like 4 years older than me, and we remember when Paula, what's her name? It was a transgender back in the day or whatnot. Go ahead.
Way RuPaul. Back? RuPaul. Okay.
Yeah. So
did he even consider himself a transgender? Basically.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't even care. But
right.
We'd be flicking past the channels or whatnot, and I'd be like, what the heck was that? And my brother say, oh, that's that weird RuPaul dude or whatnot. And I'll be trying to just see what he was trying to say or something. And he'd be like, heck no, ain't nobody watching that, man. And that's the truth. Yeah, you got to be like that. When you see stuff like that, man, and you know it's evil, man, don't even pay it no attention. Don't look at it.
Right.
Don't listen to it. Just don't let it interfere and mess with your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even if you do see that on TV and you see the little shoes that they trying to promote, as long as you ain't wearing no dang on devil shoes, and you ain't watching no devil nonsense, and you ain't letting the devil come into your house, you ain't got nothing to worry about.
Right.
he gonna destroy himself. And I want to tell Nasty Nas X, we love you and God bless you. And Satan, it's all good. He just mad down here on earth because my father God put him out. So it's cool. He can keep trying to program the kids. We see what he doing. They ain't doing nothing but trying to attack the kids. But Father God told me to tell him that it's all good. The devil already lost, and he better get himself found before he get lost. He playing a dirty game.
Yeah.
And it ain't gonna do nothing but get him in hell with Skittles and sugars in his thong. He got a thong on. He need to get that thong up. Take that thong
TMI.
off. Get him some put some Ralph Lauren boxers on. And,
Okay.
And alpha up and tell Joel, I don't know what type of jeans he got on over there, but he better have some alpha jeans on.
Yeah.
And they better be ironed too. It better not be wrinkled, because I know he an undercover beta. And I know Chris's jeans is alphaed up.
Okay, everybody's going after Joel. The heck?
Nick, I know Nick better not have no dirt stains in his beta jeans from coming across the border neither.
Hey, I mean, I hear you, Art, but I mean, I also don't have no kids that are wedlock, so.
Oh.
I don't know what jeans. My jeans on that point of view is looking real alpha.
He said I got on beta Levi's.
Interesting, Art. Well, thank you for the
Hey,
kind words and kind message to Lil
already.
Nasty.
Yep. God bless you, man. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Art. Take care.
All right. Okay, buddy. Yes.
All right. Man, brutal. Did I show you guys the Realist Report little logo thing that I appeared on the Realist Report yesterday, pre-recorded, but it was put up almost immediately after. TheRealistReport.com is how you can find that. Or I also posted a link to his post in a blog post on my website on the HakeReport.com. So you can go check that out if you're so interested. I have a picture I put in a screenshot just now, actually, Joel, from May 28th, 2020, Sesame Street, which is put out by PBS, or it used to be put out by PBS, Public Broadcasting Service, had a appearance of Lil Nasty X with Elmo. That's that red childish Muppet thing from Sesame Street. And it's terrible. They've been putting out the fake racism thing. I remember when I was a kid. I might have been an older kid by that point. My brother was probably watching Sesame Street. I grew up watching Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers, a little bit of Captain Kangaroo, a little bit of other shows too. The Monkees. The Monkees was a better show than that. But I remember even back then, like, there was like this little cartoon skit of an owl who slept at night, and some other animal said, "That's weird," and the owl said, "That's not weird. It's just different." And that's that pretense that, oh, this diversity thing, don't say that people are weird, they're just different. You got to accept everybody. And they're pushing it big time. The ACLU put out this weirdo tweet, and Michael Tracy called them out, liberal journalist. But sometimes a blind squirrel finds a nut, and he finds the truth a little bit, right? He's an American, I think. But the ACLU, anti-American, really, un-American, Civil Liberties Union, put out this tweet March 27th, just a few days ago. Trans children are perfect exactly as they are. Which is funny because they don't feel perfect. They feel like they have this thing that psychologists who are snakes in the grass, communists generally, some of them are decent, called gender dysphoria. And so they don't feel like they're perfect exactly as they are. They feel like they were born in the wrong body. And so the ACLU is kissing up to transgender children who feel like they're transgenders. And this was not a common situation. so much as it is today because it's being promoted. Just like in the Roman times, I want to say. Wasn't in the Roman times the LGBTIQ practices were through the roof just before the toppling? Just one sign of many, one, symptom of many. Another being the loss of what it meant to be Roman. Here in America, there's a LGBTIQ illegal alien from the Philippines with a Mexican last name. You know, the Philippines are basically Mexican Asians because the Spaniards came into them. And this guy's name is Antonio, maybe it's Gutierrez or something like that. And he started this organization called Define American because he was a writer for like Washington Compost or something disgusting like that, right? Some evil enemy of America, mainstream media, lying outlet, liberal outlet. And then he came out of the closet as an illegal alien. I've been working here, and I'm a award-winning journalist. I wrote about the Virginia Tech shooting because he's part Asian himself, so I guess he got the job or whatever. And I'm an illegal alien, and I'm going to start this organization called Define American. And he likes to make things kind of like the other intellectuals who call into my show, Joe from Phoenix, clear as mud, clear as mud. Define American. Well, an American is a... And it's basically an attack upon whites, Christians, the people who founded America. And it's to obscure what it means to be American. You're supposed to actually believe in real freedom. ACLU is part of the human trafficking business. Very true, Infobomber, over there on DLive. I'm glad DLive got reconnected. We had a little bit of hiccup in the stream somehow. I don't really understand what happened. But I'm glad that we got you back there. Yeah, the ACLU was an outright avowed enemy of the Trump presidency, which is to say America. They hate America. They started this whole campaign and did all kinds of lawsuits, dozens, if not hundreds, or over 100 lawsuits against America, against our border enforcement. They want the illegals to come in here. They want the illegals to get abortions. They fought to get baby killing of illegal girls, right? Out of wedlock birth. And we say, no, we're not going to provide that for you. Oh, no, you have to make sure that they have access to reproductive health care. These fake buzzwords. Enemies of America. Speaking of that mess, and something else that this liberal journalist who's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show a couple of times, Michael Tracy, he pointed out to me, Jim Acosta of CNN. This is a vaccine thing. Jim Acosta getting a vaccine for himself. Jim Acosta is a CNN grandstander who used to heckle our real President Trump. And he tweeted out, I guess last night, just the shot in the arm I needed. The latest studies show, this is his PSA, public service announcement, right? The latest studies show that COVID-19 vaccines are highly effective. This doesn't make me trust vaccines. The people who already agree with him already are getting vaccines. He's putting this out, and it's causing people not to want vaccines. And Michael Tracy's saying the same thing to the same effect because Michael Tracy believes in this pandemic thing like crazy. But he said, please do your part to end this pandemic. Get your shot. It's not doing much. It's not doing much. So Michael Tracy said, somebody should probably inform, did you find it? Yeah. Somebody should probably inform Jim that he's contributing to vaccine refusal rates by continuing to make everything an obnoxious, self-flattering spectacle. And he's right. And he's wearing the mask and all that. It reminds me of that bald-headed woman who has alopecia, who's a politician. She tweeted out a picture of herself. This black woman, Ayanna Pressley, wear a mask. This guy's doing the same thing, and he looks so immature with his T-shirt. He looks as immature as me. I'm used to seeing him in a suit, so he just looks silly. And a black woman is putting on his getting him ready for his shot. But you saw yesterday, I showed you the fake presidents, the fake past presidents. I call them fake because they're phony people, phony politicians, talking about get a vaccine. I can't even make my voice as weak as Bill Clinton's voice is now. He has no life in him. He needs more of that adrenochrome. I'm just playing. Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, all nakedly Trump-hating, America-hating people, saying, get your vaccine. Hake better have some alpha jeans on from JCPenney, top of the line, says Tate Mays. Thank you. Marshalls. Well, they are also pushing this vaccine passport thing. And these are corporations that some of the same corporations that pushed this Black Lives Matter madness, which shows you that they're enemies of the people. Some of the same corporations that boycotted our real President Trump for telling the truth about what's going on over Mexico is not sending their best to us. They're doing this thing called vaccine passports. Vaccine passports, what's that mean? Well, I told you in Hake News at the end of hour 1, I think, of the Jesse Lee Peterson show, that the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, wants to make you get an app on your phone, I think. And they call it the Excelsior app or something like that, to force you to have your vaccinated. COVID-19 vaccine from a disease that's not even that deadly to most people. And it doesn't even prevent you from getting the COVID. According to reports, it diminishes symptoms. Only it gives you symptoms when you get it. My friend got it and he got body aches. Although he's recommending that other people get it because he's a believer in that mess. He's Asian. I told you about him. And so the Washington Compost put out this article, according to disclose.tv, at disclose.tv on Twitter, if you're on there, said the Biden administration is set to launch a COVID-19 passport that Americans must have to engage in commerce and would track Americans that took the vaccine. And they cite the Washington Compost. Enemies of America. They want to kill America in darkness. And this liar who says that he's an author of this Washington Compost story, he tweeted out, his name is Dan Diamond. I am an author of the Washington Compost story. This is not what we wrote. But when he explains it, it is indeed what he wrote. What we reported, some businesses have said that proof of vaccination will be required. A range of private and public organizations are already racing ahead on designing passports. So passports do exist. The Biden administration is working to set standards around what's coming. So they are collusion. And he quote tweets the Washington Compost story, vaccine passports are on the way, but developing them won't be easy. Asked today about passports, White House's A. Slavitt said the government is naturally involved given the scope, but the U.S. government is not viewing its role as the place to create a passport. But they didn't say create, but launch, nor a place to hold the data of citizens. We view this as something a private sector is doing, and that is what they are doing. And so in the very article, they talk about proof of vaccination, critical driver for restoring baseline population health. The population is doing fine, except for the evil shutdowns. Kids committing suicides in Canada and America. Promoting a safe return to social, commercial, and leisure activities. According to March 2nd slides prepared prepared by the Office of the National Coordinator for Health Information Technology. Well, that's a mouthful. You can tell they're liberals. I'm looking at different sections of this article that were highlighted by Cernovich, who says that it's exactly what you said, what Disclosed TV, because they're pretending that, oh, Disclosed TV is fake news, and they're saying that the Biden administration is launching this, but the Biden administration is very much involved. Anderson's team, this is some guy named Anderson. Anderson's team is aiming to release its free software standards in April, hoping developers will use them to help build digital vaccine records that allow people to show they have been inoculated. The Vaccine Credential Initiative includes the Mayo Clinic, Microsoft, that's creepy, and more than 225 other organizations, many of which have pledged to use the code when administering shots. Shameful. Vaccine Credential Initiative, coalition endeavoring to standardize how data in vaccination records is tracked. To me, it doesn't matter whether the government or some big corporation is tracking me. I know that they're tracking me, and they want me to get vaccinated. If I want to participate and go to a concert, Ticketmaster was pushing this mess, which I'm not that into going to concerts anymore. Thank you. Don't have to participate in a bunch of some of this worldly stuff. Be ready to give some of it up, maybe, if you want to avoid getting this mess. But they're pushing it if you travel or anything. Vaccine is so evil. Thankfully, there are some people, as you heard Bobby in Texas mention, that Governor Ron DeSantis, is against that, saying that it's a violation of people's freedoms. Even for a private company to do that. Right on. Is Governor DeSantis for real? I don't know. But I'm liking how he's at least trying to be for what's right. Somebody's got to do it. We can't let this get monkeyed up. We can't monkey this up, this country. That's something that Ron DeSantis said, and it was called racist. You know, the military is getting involved in all this stuff, pushing this madness. I've talked about that before. Somebody said something about the woke ideology being pushed by evil people that are into sexualizing children and stuff like that. There's this French philosopher that I read about, a little bit about, Michael Foucault. And this Twitter user, John Durant, says that he's the intellectual godfather of woke ideology, which is not awake. Woke means asleep because it's poor grammar. And, well, not because it's poor grammar, but because they promote evil. M-I-C-H-E-L, no A. Usually Michael is spelled with, maybe it's Mikkel. Foucault. Abused boys in Tunisia, according to a report out just in Sunday in the Times of UK. It's a UK outlet, liberal. But Matthew Campbell writes on Sunday, philosopher Michael Foucault, am I pronouncing the guy's name right? A beacon of today's woke ideology, has become the latest prominent French figure to face a retrospective reckoning for, and this is gross, I hate to even talk about it, but abusing kids in an evil way. A fellow intellectual, Guy Sorman, unleashed a storm among Parisian intellos with his claim that Foucault, who died in 1984, aged 57, was indeed a creep. Exploited Arab children while living in Tunisia in the late 60s. And I'm sparing you some of the details. And that guy is a 77-year-old. Said he visited Foucault with a group of friends Easter one year, back in 69. Young children running after Foucault, saying, what about me? Take me. And over there in some of the Arab world, they are into that stuff. It's pretty sick stuff. And you wouldn't be surprised, honestly, because that folk cult was really a nasty piece of work, says H. George, 1993. Yeah. I mean, would you be surprised, really? The military is going after everything right, too. USSOCOM. You ever heard of that? The USSOCOM? They're sick people. They're going after Trump. They're comparing Trump to being a Hitler. What are they even? USSOCOM. But they have this new chief of diversity and inclusion. There shouldn't even be a chief of diversity and inclusion. That's just an evil liberal thing. It's kind of like having a school that's a social justice magnet school. Social justice magnet school? That's politics. You're pushing fake values on kids, and they're doing it to the military. We welcome our new Chief of Diversity and Inclusion, Mr. Richard Torres-Estrada, a hyphenated double Hispanic male, because he's not a man. We look forward to his contribution in enhancing the capabilities and effectiveness of the SOF through diversity of talent, helping us recruit the best of the best. And this guy is an evil person. He, on his Facebook page, smeared Trump, put a picture of Trump and a picture of Hitler, who, you know, the propaganda goes, that's the most evil person that you can imagine. Evil. Hitler. And so they're calling Trump Hitler. And he's the chief of diversity of ideas. Give me a break. In the military. USSOCOM is the official Twitter account for U.S. Special Operations Command. Creepy, huh? Anyway, we're in the last 10 minutes here. Hang tight, guys. Dylan in Nashville, Tennessee wants to comment on the messed up music industry. What's up, Dylan? How are you?
What's going on, James? How are you?
Speaking from Nashville. Yeah, fine.
Excellent. Yeah, I can't talk for super long, but I know you were talking about kind of the music and stuff like that today. Well, obviously, I've been doing music for years and years and years, industry kind of side of it, and it is a really, really messed up place. And yeah, they're into some really messed up things, and I feel like the reason why they tend to go after young generations of children and things like that is because a lot of them are involved in a lot of worship, like satanic worship, as far as like, are you familiar with Aleister Crowley?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, Aleister Crowley, like, he wrote the Book of the Law. It's like, it's a lot of these things that a lot of these music artists and stuff like that really are deeply into his stuff. And for a large portion of my younger teenage years, whenever I was coming up in this, I was very, very deep into that kind of stuff. And it really is wild, some of the stuff that some of these music industry people are into.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you look at the imagery that they promote, like Jay-Z and all of them, the stuff that they're promoting, it's this sick stuff.
Right, and look at the kind of shirts that, like, Jay-Z and stuff wears, like the "Do as Thou Wilt." You know what I mean? That's right. Aleister Crowley. That's a lot of the shirts he wears and things. But anyways, as far as like the children, like I'm not going to say anything gross or anything, but literally when it comes to Aleister Crowley, they get involved in sex magic and stuff like that, where they do some very, very depraved and nasty things,
right?
In a sexual nature. But what Aleister Crowley was saying in a lot of his book is that the highest sacrifice you can do to these beings is to abuse a virgin child. And that's why I feel like that's why these people are always so after the children, is because that's how they do a lot of their rituals. And one thing I will say is, from whenever I was involved in this stuff, a lot of it was very in the background. of music as far as where it was happening. It wasn't really to the forefront. Now, these music videos and stuff, it is absolutely shoved in your face.
Yeah.
And just from someone who, like, I was so messed up on drugs and all sorts of stuff when I was doing that, and I didn't believe in God, right? I thought it was a joke. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, yeah. But then I slowly started to put two and two together when I would be around these people. I could believe in anything, right? I could say, oh, well, it's aliens. Well, it's Buddha. Well, it's this. Well, it's that. The second I started getting curious about Jesus, like Yeshua, oh, they shut that down immediately. They labels and stuff will tell you that will not fly. You cannot, really get into Jesus. And then I just thought about it. Wait a minute. If they're pulling for this, there has to be an opposite of, because they're so into it. And then that's where I was like, oh, wow, God's real.
Yeah, right.
And then you just
that's interesting.
Wow. Yeah, it's definitely crazy. But, the industry is absolute garbage. Like, I watched that little Nas X thing the other day. I looked at it on YouTube, and I'm just like, this is literally the epitome of what's wrong with our culture. Like, This is disgusting. I mean, it literally made me want to vomit.
There were two women who did the same thing on a stage at the Grammys, right? It's promoting just evil.
Wasn't that just awful? But, I definitely pray for these young people because, just like I was coming up in it, you don't really understand what you're doing because your brain's still developing. And these people, they understand how the mind works, the subconscious works and stuff, and just certain frequencies and stuff make you act a certain way. And then I think for a lot of these people, when you're told, hey, how would you like to know what's really going on? They're like, okay, I'm all ears. And when you get wrapped up and get deep into this, it's really, really tough to pull out. And then, well, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Whenever you decide, okay, I've had enough of this, who are they going to believe? A multi-million-dollar record producer, or are they going to believe some little punk kid that they could just say, oh, well, he's just a little brat that didn't get his way in the industry,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. But hey, God bless you guys, and just definitely be careful if you have children. Be careful what you let them listen to, because music's not just music; it does something to you on a subconscious level. So.
Yeah. No, people use it like a drug.
Oh, absolutely. But hey, God bless you, James.
Thank you, Dylan.
Talk to you.
All right, take care.
Right. Later, man.
Bye. Yeah, Bob Dylan, Woody Guthrie. I learned that Woody Guthrie, his son's a radical. And he was too. Simon and Garfunkel, all these people. Terrible. And that was considered American folk music. Kind of anti-American. Isn't that strange? Some of the songs are so nice, though. Seductive. Rick is back. Rick from Hampton, Virginia, in the last few minutes here, wants to talk about the Derek Chauvin trial. What's up, Rick?
Case, man.
Hey.
What's up, my brother James?
Not much. Yes, I can. Thank you.
Wow. Hey, what do you think about the Chauvin case, man? You think those the blacks gonna overcharge the case?
Of course. It's a kangaroo court, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But right now, the prosecutors are not fair-minded at all. The prosecutors are not fair-minded at all.
They don't realize, man. I really wish that Chauvin's lawyers can get two people to demonstrate that if you put your knee on someone's neck, that you can't kill a person that way.
Yeah.
I wish they would actually do that in court and demonstrate it.
Yeah.
The dope will kill George Floyd. You see what I mean?
Right.
That will kill them. It's not the officer's leg that was on. Now,
and the knee on the neck is according to the police policy. It's in the police training manual. Put the knee on the neck, or shoulder blade, or whatever. But that's where the knee was supposed to be.
Yeah, and
according to the Minneapolis PD manual.
I really think he's gonna beat the case. I mean, Chauvin can beat the case because they trying to charge him with what's that, 3rd-degree murder? 3rd-degree murder is when you intentionally try to kill someone, right?
I think so.
Okay, I think they're trying to charge him with that. But
even if they get him for manslaughter, I don't think that that's fair. Because this guy He didn't look like they were trying to mind read on him as though he was like enjoying this and he's just being a cruel person just because he's black.
Right. That's how CNN put it.
Yeah.
CNN got it. Like, that's what they keep showing. They has not once showed the entirety of the whole thing yet. Only thing CNN shows is Officer Sharma's knee on George Floyd's neck. That's all.
And
they're over and over. Go ahead.
To this day, they're claiming that Trayvon Martin was murdered. They have zero evidence that he was murdered. All the evidence points to self-defense. Yeah, they don't know what happened, but they just assume that it was murder. Same thing with Michael Brown over in Ferguson. They're pressuring, and politics does influence the courts. I don't care what you say, the courts are corrupted by politics.
Corrupt.
That's why he was even charged with murder. Either George Zimmerman or Derek Chauvin, because of politics. Yep. It's a pretense. And I'm talking with these fake. With these fake Christians, like I told you about John Fugelsang yesterday. And John Fugelsang says, I watched Derek Chauvin murder George Floyd on video. No, you didn't. You're a liar.
You don't know what killed him.
Exactly.
That's the thing about it. All thing is that, look, I saw his knee, and they know what killed him. He had a combination of meth, fentanyl, and I heard that he had COVID-19. Man, those three enough to really destroy him.
Right.
He just had his knee to keep him stable. But the only thing I wish he would have done was just take his knee off his neck once he went unconscious, man.
That would have been nice, I guess. But
they done everything.
But even still, like he can't. He's surrounded by people harassing the cops or videotaping and yelling at them and making the scene. Blacks do like that drama. And so like, what are you supposed to do? But you have to be like, take extra precaution not to get off this guy's neck, because you don't know if he's going to come to or what. A lot of times people will stop struggling and then they'll start struggling again. So it's just, he was hanging out and they had called an ambulance. So it's just all drama. CNN is evil, really evil.
Right. Actually, it's the same thing like too with the voter and now the voter law in Georgia too. To switch you real quick, I know you don't have much time, James.
Yeah.
All that law is just they have to have an ID to go vote, correct?
Right. Yep.
And Roland Martin is screaming racism.
Yeah.
If you too sorry to get an ID to go vote, man, to me, you don't even need to exist.
Yeah. It's crazy.
He debated a 21-year-old kid named he calls him King Randall.
Oh yeah, I saw a little bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And Roland Martin, I'm trying to focus blacks on how to shake hands, how to go work. And Roland Martin talking about, what about voter suppression? He said, look, man, that's your fight, man.
Yeah. No, it's silly.
I was so glad to see somebody young.
Yeah.
And somebody telling us we don't need the government, man.
I know.
Everything Roland Martin does, we got to have the government involved. We got to have the government.
Right. Nah.
Racism.
Thank you, Rick.
Like, okay, James. Love y'all. Keep up the good work, brother.
All right. Appreciate you. Take care. Thank you to Daryl Wayne, I think, Triple Baconator, Misty Loca. I think I had X tag turned on somehow. Not sure how. I think I switched it to mature, but I wasn't able to get D Live Super Chats today. Shout out to Kid Combo as well. And thank you to the Trovo supporters. Let me make sure that I have you there correctly. Jim Eagle, thank you, man. And Noah's Ark, Kansas, always faithful. Appreciate you guys. TheHakeReport.com for my stuff. JesseLeePeterson.com for JLP's stuff. TheGiftedOfDance.com for Joel Friday here with the alpha genes. The non sex out of wedlock alpha genes. Nice. All right, guys, take care. Bye.